I've been crocheting for a while now, and one thing I kept hearing from people who saw my work was, "Oh wow, where did you buy that?" And every time I told them I made it myself, their jaws dropped. So I started thinking, what is it about certain crochet items that makes them look high-end? What makes something look store-bought versus handmade? And after a lot of experimenting, I figured it out. It comes down to the stitch you pick, the yarn you use, and the shape of the finished piece. Today I'm going to walk you through some of the most stunning crochet items you can make that look like they came from a fancy boutique, and I promise, none of these are as hard as they look. Here's the thing a lot of beginners don't realize. When people first start crocheting, they usually go for the most colorful yarn they can find, and they make something like a simple square or a basic dishcloth. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's how almost everyone starts. But then they wonder why their finished pieces don't look polished, why they look a little rough compared to things you'd see in a store or on Pinterest. The problem isn't the skill level. The problem is the choices being made before the hook even touches the yarn. The color, the texture, the stitch pattern, those things make a massive difference in how expensive or how cheap something looks when it's done. A chunky, cream-colored throw made with a simple stitch can look like something from a high-end home store. But that same exact stitch in a bright neon acrylic yarn, it's going to look like a craft project. Same skill, different result. That's what we're going to fix today. Let's start with the first item, and honestly, this one might surprise you with how simple it actually is. If you've ever scrolled through home decor accounts online, you've definitely seen chunky throw blankets. Big, thick, cozy blankets draped over a couch or a bed that look like they cost somewhere between $60 and $150. And sometimes they actually do cost that much when you buy them from a store. But you can make one yourself, and here's what makes it look so good. The secret is the yarn weight. You want to go for a super bulky or jumbo yarn, something chunky and soft. Merino wool is the gold standard here because it has that beautiful natural texture that photographs incredibly well and feels amazing in real life. Now, merino can get a little pricey, but you don't need a ton of it for a smaller lap blanket, and there are some really good merino blends that are more budget-friendly. For the stitch, you actually don't need anything fancy. A simple single crochet or a basic moss stitch, which is just alternating chain stitches and single crochets, gives you that gorgeous, tight, chunky texture that looks incredibly high-end. If you've only ever done basic stitches, you can absolutely make this. The chunky yarn does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Color is huge here too. Stick to neutral tones: cream, oatmeal, warm gray, dusty terracotta, sage green. Those earthy tones are what you see in boutique stores because they photograph well, they match almost any home decor, and they just look expensive. Bright colors can look fun and playful, but if you want the high-end look, neutrals are your best friend. Next up is the Boho macrame-style wall hanging. Okay, so technically macrame is knotting, not crocheting, but there's a crochet version of these boho wall hangings that looks absolutely stunning, and people genuinely cannot tell the difference unless they're right up close. This has been one of the most popular items I've made, and people are always shocked when I say it's crochet. What you'll need for this is a smooth cotton or cotton blend yarn in a natural, undyed color. Think cream or off-white. That natural look is what gives it the boho feel. You'll also need a wooden dowel or a piece of driftwood to hang it from, which you can find in any craft store or sometimes in nature if you're lucky. The technique involves a combination of chains, slip stitches, and leaving long fringe ends that you can brush out to create that feathery, flowing look. The fringe is what really sells it. When you brush out those yarn ends with a pet brush or a stiff bristled brush, the fibers separate and create this beautiful, soft, wispy texture that looks completely different from regular yarn. You can add beads, shells, or small wooden rings as you go to give it more detail and dimension. These little additions make it look like you spent a ton of time and money on it, but they usually cost almost nothing. A pack of wooden beads from a craft store is a couple of dollars at most. The best part about this piece is that imperfection is part of the charm. It's supposed to look organic and handmade, so if your rows aren't perfectly even or your fringe isn't exactly the same length, that actually adds to the look. This is one of those projects where you can relax and not stress about being perfect. Now let's talk about the linen look market bag. These bags are everywhere right now. That open weave, breezy style that you see on beaches and farmers markets and in high-end boutiques selling them for $40 or $50, you can make one in a single afternoon. The stitch that gives you that open, airy look is called the mesh stitch, and it's literally just chains and single crochets. That's it. You make a foundation chain, skip a space, single crochet, chain, repeat. The result is a beautiful open grid that looks light and elegant and very on trend. For yarn, cotton is the way to go here. It holds its shape, it has that slightly stiff quality that makes the bag look structured even without any lining or support, and it photographs beautifully. There are also some jute cotton blends that give you an even more natural, earthy look. Again, stick to natural tones. A beige or sandy-colored market bag looks like it's straight from a boutique. A bright pink one looks like a craft project. Same bag, completely different vibe. You can add leather handles if you want to take it to the next level. A lot of craft stores sell pre-cut leather bag handles, and you can just attach them to your crochet bag with a few simple stitches. That one little detail makes the finished product look like it costs 3 times what it actually does. The textured pillow cover is another one that genuinely shocks people. It's one of the easiest things to make in crochet, but it looks incredibly polished when it's done. A textured pillow cover in a beautiful stitch pattern can completely transform a couch or a bed, and people will think you bought it from a fancy home store. And the stitch I recommend for this is the crocodile stitch if you want something with real texture and dimension. It looks absolutely incredible because it creates these overlapping scale-like shapes that have a sculptural, 3-dimensional quality. It's one of those stitches that makes people stop and say, "Wait, how did you even do that?" And the truth is, once you learn it, it's very repetitive. It's just clusters of double crochets worked around a chain space. The technique takes maybe an hour to get comfortable with, and then you just repeat it over and over until you have the size you need. Make the cover to fit a standard pillow insert. 16 by 16 inches or 18 by 18 inches are the most common sizes. And when you're done, you just slip the insert in, and you have a pillow that looks like it came from a home decor brand. And again, color matters. Sage, terracotta, dusty rose, camel, ivory. Pick one of those and you're already most of the way to looking expensive. Plant hangers are one of those items that people will buy in a heartbeat if they look good. And a crochet plant hanger can look absolutely beautiful when it's made well. The trick here is the same trick we've been talking about. Cotton yarn in a natural color, a simple but elegant stitch, and clean finishing. For plant hangers, a tighter stitch works better because you need the basket to actually hold the weight of a pot without stretching too much. A simple shell stitch or a basket weave pattern looks really stunning here. The shell stitch creates those fan-like shapes that give the hanger a very elegant, almost vintage look. Pair it with some simple knotted cords at the top for hanging, and you have something that looks like it would sell in a boutique for $30 or more. And adding a little fringe at the bottom, just a few inches of yarn that you knot or leave loose below the basket, makes a massive difference in how finished and intentional the piece looks. Now let's talk about the chunky ear warmer or headband. This one's perfect if you want something quick that you can actually sell or give as a gift. A wide crocheted headband in a soft, stretchy yarn looks incredibly put together, the kind of thing you see at markets and pop-up shops selling for $20 to $25. The chunky twisted headband is one of the most popular styles right now. You basically make a rectangle of the right length, add a twist in the middle by folding it over itself, and stitch it together. That's genuinely it. Some of these can be finished in under an hour. And instead of just sewing the ends together, attach them with a big wooden or buffalo horn style button. It gives the headband a structured, deliberate look that feels more crafted and less crafty. Such a simple swap, but it changes everything about how the finished piece looks. And the last one, the coaster set. This might sound small and simple, but hear me out. A set of 4 or 6 matching crochet coasters in a beautiful stitch pattern, done in a neutral cotton yarn, this looks incredibly charming and thoughtful. And if you're thinking about selling any of your crochet work, coasters are one of the easiest things to move because the price point is accessible for buyers. The Mandala style coaster is the most popular look right now. It's made in the round, working outward from a center ring, and the stitch variations as you go out create a really intricate looking pattern. But crochet in the round is very beginner friendly once you get the hang of starting a magic ring. Each round just builds on the last one. You can do these in a single color for a minimal, modern look, or do each coaster in a slightly different complementary shade, like a set of earthy tones that all go together. Either way, the finished set looks beautiful and intentional. Now, here's what I really want you to take away from all of this, because there's a bigger lesson hiding underneath everything I've shared today. The items that look expensive don't look expensive because they're complicated. They look expensive because of the choices made around them, the yarn color, the yarn texture, the small details like fringe, buttons, or leather handles. These are not advanced crochet skills. They're just decisions, and knowing which decisions to make is the difference between something that looks like it came from a store and something that looks homemade. A lot of people hold back from starting crochet because they think they have to master complicated stitches before they can make anything beautiful, but that's not true at all. Some of the most stunning crochet pieces I've ever made used nothing more than chains, single crochets, and double crochets. The magic was in everything around those stitches. There's also something really meaningful about making things by hand in a world where everything is mass-produced. When you make a throw blanket or a plant hanger or a set of coasters,